Hyper wheels. This is what it's all about. This is the Hypergo and what it's about. And of course we have a speedometer on here. You can do it in miles per hour. You can do it in kilometers per hour. It also shows you here your steering left and right. It's an app that worked flawlessly with the cars, but let's get into what actually happened. Hey guys, okay, so I first got my Hypergo probably around the same time that everybody in the States was getting them after they were released. I'd seen some videos that were online about them and people were bragging about them, and it took AliExpress about 2 months for me to get mine. So imagine my disappointment when I go out to film with the car and it doesn't work. So just a heads up as far as that goes is that this is the Hypergo V1 from MJX. Those are the guys that do bugs, those drones, which I actually have one of, and it's a good drone. And their GPS module is solid, and I'm going to show you that. However, my Hypergo didn't go. ESC is bad. And on the version 1, this was pretty cool because it had the latching body system like another company made famous, if you want to take a guess who that is. And so it was pretty neat. You had a clipless body system that was on there. There's a fan that's on the motor, and the GPS module, which is located right here, okay? Problem is, my Hypergo was a no-go. So I get out to location to film, and I have no bind. And one of the things that was neat about this car, it had a lot of cool, you know, gadgets and gizmos and things like that, is that it uses a regular T-plug, so it advertised that it could be 2S or 3S, comes with a 7.4 volt battery, and that battery is a smart battery. So actually when you power it on, it actually lights up and shows you how much battery life you have left. It also transmits that through the Bluetooth on its controller, which also has an ejector extraction, or what I would call, although they don't, a launch button on the side to launch at full throttle, which is pretty neat. However, if the car doesn't go, then what does it even matter that it has all of these bells, whistles, and doohickeys? Except for the fact that I should mention to you that I'm not the only one that had the problem with the issue in the binding, and I found out that this wasn't just version 1, but there was a version 2 that was also a failure in both the motor and in the ESC. And so what does that mean? It means that you should go for the Hypergo version 2, right? Well, before I do, and because I did, before I go any further, I just want to show you this right here. You can see our little fan we got there, and there's the GPS module up here. What I wanted to show you is that on this ESC, so if you're looking at your car trying to do a diagnostic, and you see that it has 5 slots located right here for all of your wiring, you have the old ESC. The new ESC only has 3 slots on it, okay? And so this car was a no-go for me. So let's get on to the next one. So you wouldn't think that the next car from Hypergo could be as disappointing as the first, considering the first one didn't run at all. But it was more disappointing. This video sounds like it's turning out to be absolutely terrible. And for such a cheap model, in the 100 thereabouts price range, 130, sometimes there's a coupon on them, you'd think that, you know, hey, this is a one and done video. This is going to be easy. I'm just going to be able to toss this out there and I'm going to be able to go. The problem is the car would not turn on and bind with its remote. However, the car did work after I would rebind it. However, I had to rebind it every time I turned it on and off. In addition to that, at its top speed, which you'll see in the video, this thing only got up to 16 miles per hour. Why you need a GPS unit on a 16 mile per hour car, I do not know. As a matter of fact, on the next one I'm going to show you, that's right, I have 3 cars. The top speed that I got to was 23 miles per hour, but we're going to get to that one because that was awesome. But let me tell you why not to buy the Hypergo on Amazon and why the links to these two you're not going to see. Okay, so here are the reasons why you don't buy the Hypergo that you see that's advertised on Amazon. We're getting a good shot there. Okay, so here are the main reasons. First of all, it slows molasses. And if mine's a one-off, that's fine. However, what I'm holding in my hand over here is the actual battery dongle for it, which is different than what you get, battery charger, right? That is different than what you get for the first Hypergo model that came out. So just give me just a moment. This is the battery for the Hypergo that you're going to get, okay? This battery is not a smart battery. It does not have the lights on it like the V1 did. So you get the same, and it looks bigger, right? So you're thinking, oh, well, but maybe it's 3S. Maybe there's something special about this battery. It's not at all. As a matter of fact, it's a step down, if anything, from the Hypergo that I just showed you. But this is coming from the Hypergo company, from the distributors that are selling it. So if you get it from Amazon.com, they will actually give you a wheelie bar to put on here, but at 16 miles per hour, who in the world needs that? So that was my experience with this. So it has your regular charger that you're used to seeing in these Chinese kind of knockoff kind of looking cars. I hate to say that, but it is true. We got cars that are looking like the Outcast, cars that are looking like Rustlers and all these different things. But there are a lot of great cars that come out of China. So the reason I'm mentioning it is because this is not one of them. Hypergo, which does a great job with their GPS, did a terrible job with the iteration of this one. And that was my phone clicking over here. I forgot to mute that. I will be right back. How rude of me not muting my phone. But aside from that, the car, okay, is not clipless. So, well, first, before I put it down, this was another disappointing part. The battery was disappointing because it didn't get the smart battery, but it also didn't get that cool launch button that was on the side of the controller. So if you buy the Hypergo that you see on Amazon, you don't get that launch, and the only adjustable trim that's on there is the steering rate. That's it. So there's no reversal of throttle, no reversal of steering, which I personally use when I do one-handed steering. I reverse it. And I could do a video on why I do that and why that works for me, but that's a whole different story. So it's a cheaper controller that you get, a transmitter. So that's one of the downsides to it. And then the battery was the other downside to it. But then they don't give you that clipless body system. Don't know why. So you're back to using the pins, which I have no issue with. Pins are fine. But if we go inside the car and we take a look, what we have on this vehicle is, and I'm going to zoom in here, I'm going to physically bring the car to you, is we have an ESC right here that only has 3 spots on it versus the ESC that had 5 that was in the other video. Here's your GPS module, and it was catching, so we got our 16 miles per hour. But the metal dog bones, okay, they happen to go into plastic outdrives and cups. And so there's more plastic on this vehicle than there was on the original, and basically because you have to rebind it every time you use it by holding the function button on the controller and then powering it on every time you do it. You can't just gift it and say, here, this is a wonderful gift, this is awesome, it has this, you know, GPS unit and everything else like that, because the instructions don't tell you that you have to bind it every time. They tell you that once it's bound, it stays bound, but it does not. And so plastic binding issue, 16 miles an hour. And that's for the one that looks like this. And I'm not putting the link up because it's junk. That's just my opinion on that one. And that's why nobody pays me to do any of this. But let's get to the bee's knees for Hypergo, because it did happen. After 2 failures in a video that I thought was going to take minutes to put together, I actually found a car that was freaking phenomenal. Here it is in all of its glory, the Hosim Hypergo with the outcast body. It's got the teal colors on it. It's got full metal oil-filled shocks that are on there. It is completely metal when it comes to the dog bones that are on there and the outdrives, and the GPS was catching perfectly at 23 miles per hour. And you're going to see I am missing a tire on here. Why? Because this thing, this little beast, is a straight up basher. It did great for a 1/16 scale car. This thing was awesome. Yes, I was able to pull a few wheelies with the thing with the adjustment of the shocks. The worst thing that happened was I lost the tire twice. Now let me tell you what's cool about that, okay? Is that I lost the tire the first time, all right, when I was bashing it. And I lost the hex, and then I lost the pin. I found the hex, I found the pin, I put them back on this car, and I was up and I was running again. But then, after the bashing I did to it, which you're gonna see in the video coming up, I wind up losing the tire again and decide, you know what, this car is isn't even not touching the ground. In other words, it was still able to travel around, and so you're gonna see me driving it while it's actually missing its tire. I was so excited and having so much fun with this Hypergo, which comes from Hosim. Hosim, Hypergo is the bee's knees. This is great. If somebody who says this isn't a tough truck, they're out of their minds. There's a coupon on it right now for $10 off. I think it's going to run you around 120 bucks, and it's definitely worth it. So let me give you a couple reasons why it's worth it. I also wanted to mention, when I ordered the replacement ESC to fix the first version that I showed you guys, okay, it is one of those 3 wire connectors, not 5. So I can't even put it in the original Hypergo unless I do the rewiring, which I will try to do and see if that works out for that, because the GPS did work on that, just the car wouldn't go. The ESC is just bad. Still working with the guy who sold it to me. He asked me to send him videos and everything else like that. We'll see what happens. Again, AliExpress. This, Amazon.com. Link will definitely be below. Why is the tire missing? Why don't I have the tire put back on? I put the tire back on in the video, so how come I didn't do it for you now? Well, let me tell you, because I got so excited that the second time I lost the tire and I'm driving it around without the tire on it, I forgot to go retrieve it. Honest to God, after having the 3 vehicles and the issues that I had, and then having so much fun with this at the skate park, I legitimately got in my car, I tossed this thing on the seat and was like, hey, I got great footage, it's time to go. I left, and then when I come to do the video, I find out I'm actually missing the tire that's on here. Okay, so the other things I lost is I lost 2 body clips that were on there, but it comes with a set of 4, so no issue, because you got extra body clips that it comes with. In addition, on this one, you get the fan back, which you do not get on the version that you get from Hypergo from Amazon. You also get the smart battery back, which when you press to turn on, will actually tell you how much charge the battery has. In this case, you can see my fan is spinning, the car is on, and you can see the green batteries that are lit up. But there's more about that battery, and the reason why I liked it and was disappointed that Hypergo did not continue with it in the Amazon offering. Okay, that's cool little latch that's on here. They're both the same size, 7.4 volt batteries. Hypergo gives you, not Hypergo, Hosim. Hosim gives you a link to get this 7.4 2S in a 3S version, so you can check your speeds. But on this battery in particular, it is charged by a USB-C So you can plug this right into the side of your computer to charge it up. So it's USB to USB-C. You can use the same connector as you use for your Android phone. If you're an iPhone user, my apologies. And again, it's T-plug or Dean's, and it is a smart battery, of which you get 2. In the original iteration, you only got 1. I mentioned you have the metal shocks, the metal outdrives and dog bones. You have this spoiler that you get that you have to put on. You have a wheelie bar that goes on the back that you have to put on that came with extra screws that are on there. And it has a heatsink, of course, for the fan that's right there. I can't say enough cool things about this because of how well this thing did. So I'm going to shut my mouth in just a moment after I show you what comes in the box. Okay, so we'll start with the Hosim controller. Okay, it gives you the reversible throttle and the reversible steering. So if you do one-handed steering and you like to reverse it, or you just happen to like it reversed, that is available on there. It also has dual rate trim. So after you do your original steering trim, you can dial it in a little bit better, and the launch button is back. So that is awesome. So very happy about that, especially on a working car that powered up and was able to bind to that controller every time. In the bag, you also have, now my phone didn't fit in it, but you also have this little attachment for your arm. It goes on your arm, and basically you can put your phone in there and you can watch the speed of your vehicle as it's going around. Are you gonna set any world records with this? Well, I mean, you might be able to, if you decided you wanted to be the fastest Hosim Hypergo runner on Earth, except with a 35 amp ESC, well, that'd be a totally different challenge and pretty pointless. I'm not even sure why the GPS is on these, except for the fact that, well, it does it, it's pretty cool. And if you want to run it around a track and see if you can make better times when you're changing tires and changing suspension and doing the other things you could do to it, it's already built into the car. And I think it should be built into a lot of other cars instead of having some companies charge us for their Bluetooth systems when they're already overcharging us for their vehicles. I think you might know who I'm talking about. So you get the thing for your arm. You get a screwdriver that comes with the car. You also get a second battery that's there. You get the charger that I mentioned, which is USB-C right there. You get the drum key, I like to call it. It's not a drum key, you know that. It's our hex key for our tires, which in the field came in handy for me when I lost my tire. You also get this bag right here, this Hosim bag to keep all of your stuff in. And inside of this bag here, let's see if I got this right. There are, I'm gonna pull it out here. There are these, ignore this extra screwdriver. You saw how many cars I had. There are these, which you can actually attach. Come on, focus. You can actually attach to the body clips, the body pins, so you can keep them so that they do not come apart, which happened to me in the field. So had I known this was in the bag, had I checked the whole thing over, I would have found that and I wouldn't have lost a couple body clips, but it doesn't matter because I got a ton of them around. That was in the bag, and in addition, I believe there's a little brush that it comes with somewhere. There it is. It's actually not even that little. Look at the size of that thing. That's what she said. You get the brush. And you get the Hosim bag, which is cool. This other bag that's empty was probably for the spoiler, and you get extra body clips and extra screws for those attachments that I mentioned. But I'm not done, because Hosim, in addition to an instruction manual, they also give you a parts guide that lists all of the parts with a diagram that shows you where everything goes on their car. They say thank you. And on their thank you card, they also give you little barcode indicators that are on there that you can scan if you have problems with the product. They're also located here in a separate little thank you card, little nice placard you could set up on your desk. All right, look at that. Okay, and then you could scan that. But the point is because it came from Hosim, they're going to support the product, and they already have upgrades that are available for it for all of the the outdrives, from what I understand, they're supposed to be reinforced. So made out of a better metal. I'm not certain. These are the 2 extra screws that I had that came with the wheelie bar. And I already showed you that charger, and I already showed you the car. There's nothing much to show you but the footage of the vehicle. Hey, so Red Viking, explain yourself. What is going on here? Well, I showed you this car right here. No go. Couldn't get the thing to bind no matter what I did. And then I decided, well, then I'll go with Hypergo's newest offering that I could get from Amazon within 2 days. But then I also saw a $20 coupon off for the Hosim product. What I was saying was to myself, the other camera is, this one is connected. We had a 16 mile per hour top speed on the other one. So let's just see what we're able to do here on this one. All right, here we go. I'll put this down. Did you see that the whole time? Or these garbage pails. Great on the range, really good feel to it. Trim is real nice right out of the box. Give us your satellite connection. There's a timer that you could do, you see here, and then you can check your battery right there. Some other settings, the settings menu, the units and stuff like that, how long you've been using the thing. All right, let's see. Top speed 21 miles an hour, and that's across this gravel. Let's try this ejection, that's what they call it, ejection button. It's a launch button. That's what you get when you launch on pavement like that. See, now this car makes me want to see how fast it goes. So let's do that. Let's go over to some pavement. That's going uphill, here's coming downhill. And our top speed was 23 miles an hour. All right. So, I mean, some guys I saw were getting 27 miles an hour, 23 miles an hour, a little bit of gravel. Feels right to me. I don't think at 23 miles an hour that there's any reason that, you know, you're gonna be pushing this thing going, oh man, I gotta get that 28 miles an hour. Enough of this dirt and gravel. Let's take this thing over and there's a mini skate park here. And it's all made out of metal. Makes me wonder why there's never kids over there. It's probably because they're always winding up with a broken arm. Mom, I broke my arm off. Where? At the metal skate park. Ooh, just doesn't have enough in the throttle to pull her over. Ah, yeah, all right. Ah. This is still on battery 1, by the way. 2 batteries with the Hosim. What? Oh, what happened there? This thing gets up over curbs, nice. Oh, and we lost a tire. If the worst thing that happens when you're filming is that you lose a tire, then that's not bad at all. Okay, so in the field, new battery swap. Remember, this one has the button on it, like the first one I showed you, where it shows you how much power the battery has. So put that in there, put it inside its nifty battery tray. Has this locking system on there. Now, if you happen to be walking over to your car and forget to hold on to the hex hub and the pin, you might, hex adapter, excuse me, and the pin, you may lose that. And so you're literally seeing me doing this at the skate park. Legit, with just the tools provided. All right, back to it. somebody who says this isn't a tough truck, they're out of their minds. I don't know about all the GPS and business going on, but after that, knowing that they have all the hardened steel and pieces, and that my truck is still going with one tire on it, and there's a $20 coupon jobber here. I know you guys that are crazy about your RC cars are like, why is he punishing this thing? I'm not punishing this thing. I'm literally getting to enjoy it and to do what the ready to run basher hobby is made for. It's and why I have a channel, why I even decided to do this, to test these things. And some of them fail miserably, like the ones that came from Hypergo. This one that came from Hosim knocks it out of the park. I love it. Love it. I think it's a great investment. I would highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. You could now you're able to see what's going to happen to kids, right? And what they're going to be doing, and see that their trucks, after they put their wheel back on, it'll be fine. So to sum up, Hosim Hypergo with the link that you see below is the one that you want to get, and it is an absolute blast and it's a beast. I am waiting on the Bison, which is the little outcast looking clone. I'll put a picture of it here so that you could see it. That is in the mail on the way. And Hypergo also has a brushless buggy that they have released, which I'm waiting for. Again, AliExpress takes a long time if you're in the United States, but it does not have GPS from what I understand. So as soon as those two vehicles show, I will do a video on that. But the next vehicle up is this. Losi Hammer Ray. There it is in all its glory. So we're gonna do the hammer ray next, okay? And I have some Vidvan parts that I got for the car, and I got these cool whips that light up, that go off the back of it, but I'm not gonna put them on. We're gonna do it stock, and then after that, we'll do the upgrades at a later time. But so the next thing is the U4 hammer ray. I hope I see you out there. Enjoy the video.